Brandon's going to be so happy that I found him another one of these.
Hey guys, what's going on? Brandon here from Video Game Mansion. This week we've got some small collections we're going to be picking up. I'm going to go stop by the pawn shop I like to go to, see if I get any good deals. We'll also see what Matt's up to this week. He's not at the store, so we'll see what kind of fun stuff he does. And yeah, we'll see what kind of shenanigans I get up to on the weekend at the store. If I find any good trades, we'll fill you guys in. So let's start this video. Here's what I was able to find at the pawn shop. We got Manhunt 2 complete, Aqua Teen Hunger Force also complete, Silent Hill Downpour, which is actually factory sealed, and the seal's really nice on that one. We got Super Nintendo Zelda Link to the Past. Look how clean that is. A copy of Ocarina of Time, also good, and DK64. So I ended up paying about $300 for this stuff, and it's probably worth about $450, so not a bad little deal. Here is that N64 lot I was talking about. We got a nice system, could use a good cleaning. We got a transfer pack, a rumble pack, an expansion pack, Kirby 64, another copy of Donkey Kong 64, which is great because we always sell out of those quickly, Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium, and Smash Bros. So a nice little pickup, and we'll show you guys if we get anything else throughout the week or when I'm at the flea market next.
Matt tuning in Thursday evening. I think what I'm going to do tonight is actually finish off this GBA IPS screen mod. I did get the Game Boy motherboard back from our repair guy. He was able to replace the capacitor and the resistor that was missing right here. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish this off, wire in the couple buttons that help you select the brightness, and then put the whole shell together. So it was missing screws and different little components, so I've got all of that laying around from other IPS and GBA reshells I've done. So should be able to knock this one out pretty quickly. I'm gonna put you guys up on the tripod so you guys can get a little bit of a time lapse. So here we go. So what I do have to do is just put some little wires so that they're very, very thin gauge, running from this board here for your left, right, and then the select button. So it's just your left, right trigger and then select button onto the main board. So there are certain pins you do this on for the GBA. If I remember correctly, right off the top of my head, it's TP2 for the select button. And then you go to the left prong on both of the triggers on the back. So the one thing you gotta remember is when you do flip this over to do your wiring, your buttons are reversed, right? So this is technically the right button, but it's on the left side, and that's technically the left, but it's on the right. So when you go to flip it back over, you just want to make sure that you're putting the wires to the right side on this, so that when you're hitting the buttons to increase your brightness on the right side of the console, it goes up, and then the left side goes down. If not, they'll be inversed and it'll look a little awkward. But anyways, I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse. So 3 little wires to solder and put it back together, and then we're good to go. Alright guys, we're all done. So when you hit left, goes down, right goes up in brightness. I did have to take it back apart because when, you might have seen it in the last clip actually, but for some reason before when I was holding select, it was just going down in brightness, and I would type right, it would go up, but then the left button wasn't doing anything. So I guess I had a pinched wire. It happens. I've done probably about 10 of these, so I would just say take your time. Easiest thing to do too is not always put it fully back together when you go testing. So put in like the top 2 screws and then the bottom one here, just so you can kind of hold everything back together, and then put your batteries in, give it a test. Another tip I would say, this is the first time I've used the screws that came with this shell. Like I said, this was a project that we picked up from a customer who messed up the board, so he just wanted to get rid of it. Normally when I do these, I reuse the authentic screws, but I didn't have those with this since it's somebody else's project. So I used the new screws that came with the kit. Definitely don't do that, guys, because I'm going to try and show you. I don't know if you can see this, but the screw literally snapped inside the plastic. So I literally have to take everything apart and grab a pair of vice grips to clamp onto it and pull it apart. Luckily, because the head broke off so easily, it was easily extracted, but it's pretty sad to see that a metal screw broke while trying to screw into plastic. So kind of gives you an idea of the quality of those screws. So anyways, this Game Boy will be going into the store this weekend with Brandon, so happy to knock this one out. Next up, we're going to be probably reshelling the Game Boy Color we got in the last week. Here's what color it should be. And you can see from the front, it is a very, very sun faded. So it's funny to see how some Nintendo products, when they sun fade, instead of kind of getting a lighter, they get really dark. So happens on this color of Game Boy Color, as well as the GameCube, the Indigo GameCube. If you leave that thing out in the sun, it actually turns black. So, all right, I said might as well get this done. To take this Game Boy apart, it's 6 screws and then 3 screws on the actual motherboard holding that in. And then the screen, really, you kind of twist it out gently since it's just kind of put in with some adhesive. I did find this other purple shell for Game Boy Color that I had in the back. I just swapped out the lens, so that's actually a glass lens in there now, a lot cleaner. The back is not as clean, but unfortunately the back is showing some fading on this one, so I can't just do it just a front shell swap. We're going to do a full swap here. I can use this battery door on this guy, might even just kind of get rid of the rest of this, make it look a little more clean, but I'll put you guys on another time lapse. It should only take me about 3 or 4 minutes to do this one. They're very, very quick compared to IPS mods, so here we go again. And there she is, guys, all reshelled. Looks great, a lot better. I did end up taking the serial number off the back here just to clean it up a bit, but definitely looks a lot better than what we had before. Just a reminder, just can't beat that. Another one I'm gonna have to work on soon is definitely this Game Boy Pocket we got in. Like I said, it's got screen burn up top and it's got a decent amount of battery acid down below, but luckily that's not the actual battery connectors that are soldered to the board. This side is very clean. This is just the side that actually pops into the shell just to make sure that both batteries are connected properly. So not sure if I'm going to do an IPS in this one. I feel like I might as well, since that screen is done. And I don't have any spares because I normally don't work on Game Boy Pockets since they're a little less desirable, but we'll probably reshell this, so that'll get me the new battery terminal, and then maybe the IPS screen, since I have to order a screen anyways. So that'll probably be a project for some other time in the next couple of weeks. I think that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm going to try and meet up with Brandon tomorrow. I have picked up some games this week, and I did want to lay those out for you guys tonight, but it's about 10:30 right now, and I'm calling it a night for sure. So I'm going to try and meet up with him tomorrow so he can have those ready for Saturday. We're also expecting a decently sized Pokemon order. It's been a while since we've been able to get in not just like the newer sets, but just an order in general from our distributor. So really looking forward to that. Hopefully that comes in time so I can pass it on to Brandon. If not, it'll be in store next weekend. But lots in the pipeline as usual, guys. So passing it over to Brandon now. All right, guys, checking back in quickly. I'm just about to meet up with Brandon. He should be here any minute now, but I have my nice new co-pilot with me. Brandon's gonna be very, very excited to see this again because we used to have one and then we sold one to a dear friend of the channel, Adele. Shout out to Adele. But he's gonna be really happy to see this guy again. It's not the exact same one, but it's very, very close. So I'm sure he'll be frolicking along with Brandon this weekend at the mansion. Figured I'd lay everything out for you guys, give you guys a little bit of a peek before Brandon brings it in the store tomorrow. So we picked this up from our friend Mike. So huge shout out to you, Mike. Thank you. Consoles, we got PS2, OG Xbox, a fairly clean Super Nintendo. It looks a little bit yellow in the video, but it's actually very, very gray, which is nice. It just needs a good wipe down. The NES is obviously, that's yellow. Good lot of NES games, namely Super Punch-Out! In there, Super Mario 3, Super Mario 3, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 2, Dr. Mario, Donkey Kong Classics. That always sells really quickly when it comes in. Very clean copy of Link, River City Ransom, and Barton Space Mutants, Double Dragon 2. Some good DS stuff. So we've got all of your typical Marios. One of the ones that always sells out whenever we get it in is Ocarina of Time 3D. Some PS2 games, just some filler, and then some OG Xbox filler as well. If you haven't ever played the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, highly recommend it. Definitely one of my favorite childhood games. A couple GameCube games, so you've got Smash, Paper Mario. That I'm surprised how much that's gone down in the last couple of months. GoldenEye 007, Twilight Princess for the Wii, Luigi's Mansion. Some loose Super Nintendo games. So you got Mario RPG, which I think we're out of actually currently right now. Link to the Past, Super Punch-Out!, Mario World 1 and 2, Super Mario Kart, and then to top it off, a copy of Pokemon Blue, which will put a new save battery in. I did pick up a huge amount of VHSs this week. It was $100 for like, I want to say 25 or 26 VHS movies, shows. So these are kind of some nameable classics that we were happy to get in. So not sure if we're going to keep them all for the store to sell or just to play in store. So have a huge bag beside me of the rest of them. So I'm going to get this all put back into the bin so I can drop it off with Brandon. He should pull up any second now. He already messaged me, he's on his way. So gonna put this all back away and send it on to the mansion.
So guys, we are now at Murray's Flea Market. We're going to be going into restock in a second. I may not be doing too much filming today because there is a bunch of customers, so I will show you guys what we get. Here is our restock for the flea market. We have some brand new Switch controllers. They are PowerA branded. We've got some nice games, some Zelda, some Kirby, a bunch of other N64 games. We've got Zelda on the 3DS, some Wii games, some PS2. Hit and Run being a good one for the GameCube. Got some Game Boy games, another Pokemon Red because the last one was sold pretty quickly, so figured we'd throw another one in here since we got a couple. And yeah, that's the pile that's going into the flea market today. We'll see what happens next week. I figured before we leave, we might as well give you a quick overview of everything else. Here's our glass case items. Lots of N64 games, the Donkey Kong, Zelda, Pokemon, etc. NES games. We've got a Switch in there. Bunch of Magic cards, which we like to keep stocked. Lots of great GameCube games. Lots of original Xbox and Wii and Xbox 360, PS2, PS1. Here's some of those. PSP games. We gotta show you here. We also got a bunch of under $20 N64 games. All the, the wall full of Nintendo games there. PS2 games. PS3. Here's over to Xbox section. And our handheld case where we keep all of our DS games, loose, complete, and our Game Boy Advance games and our Game Boy games. So a bunch of stuff here, guys. Definitely take a look if you're in the area, see what's inside the case. There's that Pokemon we just put in. Lots of great stuff in there. And again, all the Xbox, which we fill up once every couple weeks, and all of our consoles and new controllers and such. So yeah, guys, that's kind of the overview of the flea market. Stop on by soon. Now back to the store. Good morning, guys. It's Saturday in the mansion today. We brought in a bunch of stuff like this guy Matt picked up. I'm super happy about that. I got a couple other bins full of stuff. I'm going to lay everything out and I'll show you guys what we got and anything else we get today. So let's hope it's a great day. So here is Sonic's home for the time being. We'll see what we do with him, but that's kind of where I just stuck him for now. Also, stay to the end for a very funny clip of me and Sonic. Here's a couple little trades we've gotten today. Nothing too crazy, but BioShock the Collection, Skyrim Special Edition on PS4, a few Xbox games, some nice Pokemon cards. We got Light Vaporeon, EVEX, and the Charizard. So if anything else comes in, I'll let you guys know. We're about an hour till close, so not sure if anything crazy will happen before then, but if not, we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, guys. It's Sunday morning in the store. I got my sons with me. The other one's on the other side of the room doing some stuff, but what are we doing today?
We're gonna sell Pokemon stuff.
We're gonna sell Pokemon stuff, okay? So that's the plan. I also want to get, I have these 2 TVs. I want to get those up there. So I'll update you guys with progress soon. So we got all 4 TVs set up. We actually have the red one is $50. Let me zoom in here. 50, and then the other one's gonna be 20. So they're gonna be for sale. The red one has the remote. But yeah, guys, pretty cool to have 4 TVs all set up to the exact same VHS. It's funny when you start digging through bins, you start finding interesting things. Found an iPod Nano, which is kind of funny. No charger, obviously, but it's funny what you find on the bottom of the bin. We've got our first and final trade of the day. We just closed the store about 5 minutes ago. We've got a Game Boy Color. The screen needs to be replaced for sure. Pokemon Pinball, an SP, Zelda Seasons and Ages, Pokemon Gold, Magi Nation. Magination? Maybe Imagination. That's probably it. Haven't seen that one before. Mortal Kombat, Donkey Kong. I just realized this is Chinese Donkey Kong, so we'll see what that's about. Wario Land 2, Billy and Mandy, Cruisin', R-Type. Pokemon Ruby, which is pretty damaged, broken on the side, so I'll have to discount that one, if not auction it. But yeah, that's our first and final trade for Sunday. It is now end of day Sunday. I've already locked the doors. We got a lot of cleaning, a lot of sorting done this weekend. I got those TVs up there, got a couple trades, got CL View. Yeah, so the video is pretty much done. We got these guys working hard testing Pokemon Stadium, I guess. Not really working at all. They don't work at ever. They never do any work here. Worst employees ever. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Come up to me.
Don't you just love Coldplay?
Tell you I'm
Oh, crap.
sorry.